Greetings guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I hope that I'm not wearing earrings again. Oh my god, who am I? Hold on. I am so sorry. I seem to be going through an identity crisis I wasn't aware of. Let's try again. Greetings guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I hope that you are well, and I hope that you are fighting, because there is a lot to be fighting for. As usual, there will be a link in the description to the page of my website with a bunch of petitions, donations, emails to send to MPs, etc, etc. So today's video, initially I was going to go through the right can't meme because that's always fun. I've had a few people ask me to do it again, so I was going to. But while I was there, like searching through, the goldmine of that Twitter account, I came across a Facebook page called The Truth About Homosexuality, and I couldn't not look at it. And then I sat there and I fell down this rabbit hole of Facebook pages because Facebook is a wild place. It's Facebook. No one uses it anymore except for like aunties and uncles. You know what I mean? Like no one uses Facebook anymore, and it's just full of these weird pages of like people with bad, awful opinions. And so I fell down a rabbit hole of a bunch of different Facebook pages. But today we're going to go through this one, the one that led me to all of them, and that is The Truth About Homosexuality. A lot of it isn't specifically around like being gay. It's just a lot of like conservative posts that are just stupid. So we're gonna have a look at them because it's always a time. I can't say it's a good time, but it is funny and also terrifying at the same time when you realize that these are real beliefs that people have. You know what I mean? So we're gonna look through that. But before we do, I would like to take a moment to tell you about today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that has thousands of classes covering a huge spectrum of different interests, topics, hobbies, etc. Anything that you have an interest in or want to learn more about, develop skills further, etc., you can find on Skillshare. And this can be anything from being like creative to learning new skills for like time management or studying or working. For example, I edit with iMovie usually because it's easy, and I've been wanting to learn how to use Premiere Pro for a really long time. I have a very short attention span and am useless at like teaching myself how to do things. I get really frustrated if I'm not good at something straight away, so I just like always give up. However, there are courses for this on Skillshare, and I find it really, really great because you can go at your own pace. You can move slowly, like piece by piece through the course, through like steps and like 10-minute videos on each thing, and I find it really helpful to be able to learn in that way and be able to like pause and play and refer back to it. So right now I'm doing a beginner's course, and then once I finish with that, I'm going to move on to advanced video editing with Adobe Premiere Pro 2020, and it's taught by Jordi Vanderpout, and I want to use it to like extend my skills and be able to learn more creative ways of editing and be able to do more cool things with my videos and just like have them a bit nicer, have a little bit more fun with them because it's very limiting in iMovie. And I find it really great. It's really good for my attention span, which is very, very short, as I said. So if you are interested in joining Skillshare, you can use my link, and the first 1,000 people to use it will get a month completely free. This is your sign to get started. This is your sign to learn a new thing or develop some of your skills further. So thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. And now let's get into it. According to liberals, a woman can be a man, but if she gets pregnant, the baby is not human until it's born. But the baby is already gay, straight, or bisexual. But the baby does not have a gender until it decides for itself. Women can't be men. You are right. Women aren't men. Women are women. There can be people who are biologically male who are women, but they are women. Gender itself is a social construct. That is something that we created. And so if someone feels as though they align with being a woman, then they are a woman. And even social constructs aside, outside of genitalia, trans people have brains that are more similar to that of the biological gender they identify as than their own biological sex. So trans women have the same brain makeup as cis women. They have different brain makeups to cis men. So even biologically speaking, yeah, people who are biologically male can be women. If you are a woman, you are a woman. If you are a man, you are a man. No, men aren't women. No, women aren't men. Simple. We agree. Men aren't women. You're right. The baby is already gay, bi, or straight. We never say that. Our whole thing is to not force anything on anyone. They can be whatever they want to be. When they know who they are, then we will accept and love them for who they are. You are the ones enforcing heterosexuality on them, especially when you're buying like baby boys shirts that say like ladies man, or like talking about like your infant having like a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You're the one enforcing sexuality on them, not us. We don't do that. We don't like sexualize our children in the way that you do. And the baby does not have a gender until it decides for itself. Gender, once again, is a social construct. You shouldn't be deciding what your baby does based on their biological makeup. You shouldn't be deciding what your baby can and can't do based on their genitals. It's really, really weird. Just dress them in whatever. Let them play with whatever. Do whatever. It doesn't matter what pronouns you use for them if their pronouns like line up with the sex they were assigned at birth. Doesn't matter. Use whatever pronouns, because your pronouns don't necessarily equal gender. And if they later decide they don't identify with that pronoun, then you just use a different pronoun. You're the one forcing gender on your fucking children. It's so stupid. Just like let your child do what they want. Like, let them choose a gender. It literally doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter because it's all fucking made up. They know a society of strong men would never have allowed what's happening right now. That's why they attacked masculinity first. Society throughout history has always been controlled by men. It's always been men. The definition of masculinity has constantly changed throughout time, throughout human history. The definition of what masculinity is has changed and altered as time goes on. But now people are being fucking stubborn and won't let it change anymore. They're like, no, this is what it means to be a man. Fuck you if you say anything else. Let things evolve. Let things change. Just like calm down, man. No one's attacking masculinity. We're just saying you're allowed to have feminine attributes as well. Like, it's forced masculinity that leads to so many problems. It's those things that lead to the death of so many people. Like, those things are what are causing so many men to kill themselves. And it also leads men to killing other men. And it also leads men to abusing women and assaulting women because they feel like they need to make up for where they feel like they lack in their masculinity. It's a power thing. It's feeling masculine, so then to feel more masculine and powerful, they assert that and become aggressive towards other people. They cause them harm to be like, I am more powerful than you. I am a big, strong man. And when they feel, and that's one way they go about it, and the other way they go about it is to just commit suicide, which is absolutely fucking awful. And it's all because men are forced that they have to be this version of masculine, which is an impossibly high standard, and it doesn't let them feel emotions, and it makes them feel inferior if they're ever anything less than this. That's why masculinity is a problem. No one is attacking masculinity. You can be whatever combination of any masculine or feminine attributes as you like, but they shouldn't be assigned to a gender. Everything should be fluid, and you should be able to exist as who you are and display any qualities that you wish to display. And you should be able to fucking feel emotions and just exist as a person with feelings and thoughts and like personality and like love people and love things. There shouldn't be the pressure to be in a fucking box because of your genitals. Like, it's weird. It's fucked up and it's killing people. Real Christians search the Bible for the truth, not for ammunition to attack others or loopholes to keep indulging in sin. I agree. So why is it that so many homophobic people just take random passages or like change wording and apply it where they like in order to shame gay people? They just make shit up and they ignore entire passages. Why? You seem to be the ones doing the nitpicking here. Maybe don't do that. Watch the beautiful and powerful response of the 3 medal winners who beat the female impersonator at the Olympic Games. This is about Laurel, right? Who was the New Zealand weightlifting athlete who is a trans woman. And people were very upset that she was able to compete. And obviously this page is one that was very upset that she was able to compete because, you know, it's unfair. Of course she's gonna win. Of course she's gonna win. She's a man. It's unfair. So I find it really funny that this is, watch the real women who beat her talk. So clearly it was fair then, because she didn't fucking win. She didn't win. She didn't even place. So what's your argument? Why are you out here being like, see, we were right. It is unfair. How? Show me then. Tell me where. Because all you're doing is proving that it was fair. Because she didn't place. She didn't even make it to the finals. So what's your point? Stupid. Stupid. Truth doesn't change according to my ability to stomach it emotionally. Exactly. You're right. The truth doesn't change based on how you feel emotionally about it. Such as the fact that homosexuality is natural. Being trans is natural. Gender is fluid. It is a spectrum. And so is sexuality. These are all like facts that are scientifically proven. Oh, and also the fact that the vaccination is effective. Masks, also very effective. These are all scientific facts. This is the truth. So are you going to then now sit there and agree and say, you are correct, that's a fact, I will never talk about it ever again? Because you should. Because you should. Protect all children, even if they are not yours. I agree. We should be protecting all children. 100%. Children should be protected. I'm assuming this is about abortion. It usually is. Usually these posts come up around like, stand up for all children, all unborn fetuses. It doesn't matter if it's not yours. Just stand up for them all. Funny, because you don't seem to care about the children that are actually like already born and alive. Like, you know, what about the children in foster care? What about the immigrant children who need refuge and you won't let into the country? What about the children whose parents are dying because they can't afford healthcare? Or the children who are dying because they can't afford healthcare? You know what would fix that? Universal healthcare. Free healthcare. That would fix that problem. That would help a lot of children, but you oppose that. You stand against that because you don't want to pay any more taxes. You don't want the government to use your money to help children. You're happy to fund churches, right? But you don't want to help fund dying children or children whose family members are dying. I thought you wanted to protect the children. On average, 45,000 people die every year in the US because they can't afford healthcare. And over the course of 2 decades leading up to 2009, 17,000 children died because they couldn't afford healthcare. And that doesn't include all the children whose lives have been greatly affected by the fact that families have gone bankrupt in paying for either their own or their children's medical care. It means that they can't afford to go to like university. It means that they might not be able to pay bills properly. It means that they might be forced into like poverty because their families go bankrupt over paying for healthcare. So many children's lives are so greatly negatively impacted because of how inaccessible and unaffordable healthcare is in the US. But you know, when those numbers dropped a little bit, when less children died, when less people started dying because they couldn't afford healthcare, when Obamacare was brought in, when there were more accessible healthcare options available to them, when there was some free public healthcare, those numbers dropped significantly. The number of children dying dropped significantly. So you can't sit here and tell me that it's ineffective, even in the US. You can't tell me it's ineffective because it is effective. Public healthcare is like a necessity. I cannot figure out for the life of me why healthcare isn't free, yet you're spending trillions upon trillions of dollars on the military and weapons every single year. Why is death prioritized over life? Think of the children. Think of all the children, except for the children in the countries that we're invading. Think of all the children. Stop funding the military and fund healthcare. Like, use your brains. Stop just being hypocrites and straight up lying because you think it makes you look like a good person. You're not a good person. I'm getting heated in this video reading like what conservatives say, oh, it gets my blood just boiling. I could talk about it forever because they say some stuff that just makes me so angry. Anyway, next post. You shall not sleep with a male as one sleeps with a female. It is an abomination. God. Okay, I shall sleep with more women then. Thank you. Conservative publisher Brave Books launches with anti-trans children's book, Elephants Are Not Birds. Notice how she went for elephants are not birds instead of boy elephants are not girls? Because she's fully aware that gender and gender expression does not exist within the animal kingdom. Elephants have no concept of being like a man or a woman. They do like biologically for reproductive purposes, but in terms of how they exist or live their lives, they do not have the awareness of gender in the way that we do. They do not express themselves based on that gender outside of a biological point of view. So the fact you had to go for elephants are birds sort of says enough. Humans aren't birds either. Like no one, obviously elephants aren't birds. Just like I'm not a fucking ferret. I don't know. Like, you're proving your own point here. If you really, really believed what you're saying, you would do boy elephants and not girl elephants. Because, but that's a stupid point because how are you gonna prove that? They don't display any different characteristics based on their sex. So you can't. You lose your point, right? Because gender is completely made up by us as humans. Yeah? You agree? Great. Thank you. I'm glad that you agree. This was fun. I think I'm gonna stop here. It's been fun. We've talked about some stuff. I got really angry a few times. I could get going forever. I could talk about these posts for so long because there's so much to say, but I think I'm gonna stop here before I get too into it. A huge thank you to my Kiwi Fruit and Kiwi Bird channel members whose names are up on the screen right now. And a massive thank you to my channel member of the day, Ellie. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a channel member, you can click the top link in the description or the little blue join button. You get my videos a day early as well as 10% off my shop when I have things up on my shop. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I post decently regularly, so if you enjoyed this video, you'll enjoy the rest of them too, I am sure. Follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.